Alright, this is Draffet Store, or Draffet, and this is Draffet Store. This week we're going to do it on, well, this week I was kind of debating on what I was going to do it on since it was a free week, but then I decided I'm going to do it on jobs. But the top thing on this, I'm not going to be talking to the camera, I'm going to be talking and playing one of my online games at the same time. Now, here's the thing about jobs. Here in the United States, they're kind of scarce. The news just recently said from experts that out of every two graduates of college, one will go out without a job right out the door. All right, that's how scarce it was. 10 years ago, wasn't that? 20 years ago, it was a little hard, but not as bad. Now, here's my thing on it. Because currently, I'm technically unemployed, but I work for two temp services. So it's one of those deals. If they got work for me, I go in. If not, I sit around doing nothing. Not the best way to do it, but the way that a lot of the jobs are nowadays, we have no choice. There's a lot of places who won't hire directly anymore. They do it through job services. My dad used to have a thing he used to say is that about 20 years ago, plus 20 to 30 years ago, that job market was changing. What it was is going from a lot of balance where you have white collar and blue collar to more blue collar, and all the white collar and all the blue collar jobs were leaving the country. Well, he's right. Now, part of that being labor unions, it's cheaper to go somewhere else and not have to pay the price that some of these labor unions want for to pay the workers, or you understand what I'm saying. That and the fact that even non-union shops, you can get a place where it charges like $14, $15 for a die setter, and take the same job out of the country and say go to China, Taiwan, Africa, India, wherever, and you could probably get it for equivalent of maybe $3.50 American. That's an hour. I mean, down in Mexico, it's like 500 pesos, whatever the peso is, or more, to the U.S. dollar. Here's my take on it. Washington needs to step up on tariffs to other countries and start heavily tariffing stuff coming into the country at the same way our stuff does in other countries. It also needs to start telling all these major companies that are supposedly American made, but everything else is being made out of the country, to either step up and start making jobs over here for the people over here, or get the hell out of the country. And we'll still charge you taxes. For every job you take out, we'll double your tax by, $150,000. And enforce, or not so much enforce, make it easier for small businesses to open up. I mean, Walmart is notorious for coming into areas, and mom and pop shops, crumble like gingerbread houses. That's saying that doesn't mean that they haven't made jobs here. It's just that's what ends up happening. And put more of a a lien instead of making, yes, I was actually watching something called The Young Turks, and on YouTube yesterday, and they were the host of it was talking about, yes, there has been jobs made, but they're lower income jobs, like minimum wage, maybe a little bit better. But the job market has gone up. Yeah, it's gone up. It's not a whole lot. I mean, if you're in an area like Detroit, where I'm at, it's heavily reliant on the blue collar force and a lot of blue collar jobs. I mean, I was just into one of my temp service drop off paperwork at the beginning of the week, and there's 15 people lined up for work. Okay, 15 people lined up for work. Okay. A couple years ago, this is right around when I stopped. I was also working for Labor Ready, one of the big temporary service. It's got a questionable reputation, but it's one of the big temporary services across the United States. And I used to be able to go in, and maybe a day would go by, and the next day I'd have work like that. Well, like I said, a couple years ago was when I stopped going, because I was sitting there for 4 or 5 hours waiting for work for like 3 or 4 days in a row, when I could have been out looking for work, putting applications in, while I'm waiting, for them getting me work. Okay. I mean, I've seen temporary services around here close like there's no tomorrow. I mean, one buys another one up, and because they're having a hard time trying to provide jobs in the whole 9 yards. And I don't know about other parts of the country and what the promises are and all that. I know I saw online that South Dakota, I think it was South Dakota or North Dakota, has actually got a pretty decent boom right now. They don't have an issue with the jobs. I mean, they're trying to get people in there to fill them up, and but the market is steady. There's a few other places across the country like that. I mean, there's actually a few other places here in Michigan, that work is stable. I mean, meaning it's less than what the state unemployment percentage is at. But it still sucks. I mean, or like I was saying, in other areas I don't know, but here in Detroit, it still pretty much sucks. I mean, a lot of people are ended up with the threat of, hey, if you don't pull your weight, I can get 5 or 6 people in here. And that's what one of my old employers used to say. And he's right. Nowadays, he could probably pull 15 people in, and at one time where, maybe he'd have to wait about 2 or 3 weeks to fill a position. Our housing market's starting to get better, and with the housing market getting better, disposable jobs. That's cool. But, like down in the city, my niece and nephew live down there, and I mean, would be a lot of work for people just if some company just went down there and bought all these vacant homes and vacant buildings up, if they didn't have to deal with the politics of dealing with city council and the mayor's office down there. And just got in, said, hey, this is what we're doing, boom, boom, boom. Tore all these houses out and just started, rebuilding homes on it with like this, like street away from I think I mentioned this before, street away from where my niece and nephew live, and they live in between 7 and 8 Mile on Gratiot over here. They had like a year ago to 2 years ago when I was down there was like 3 people living on the block. 3 to 4 people. Last time I was down there, which was a couple weeks ago, there was one family living on a block of maybe 15, 16 homes. One family. The rest of them had shit in the buildings. I mean, and there could be, like I said, jobs tearing these homes down. Okay. I mean, we have a whole lot of vacant lots down in Detroit because big, it's like big buildings that, yes, I understand their historical value, but the building is useless. I mean, even if you gutted it out, it'd be a total waste of effort. Now, like I was going to say, our previous governor, Governor Granholm, promised a whole lot of stuff. We were supposed to get open up 3 movie production facilities here for Hollywood. There were supposed to be green jobs, coming in, and all of this stuff. And I think maybe one movie company actually has got actually finished and is actually in it up in Pontiac. One of the other ones, they decided at last minute to pull out. So we have this facility that's almost done in Allen Park that's also almost complete, if not completed, that went totally useless because Granholm and then left office. Now Schneider's in there. He's reducing all of the incentives for movie companies to come in here. Which I think is a whole lot of shit. If it brings jobs, let it bring jobs. That's all that matters. But with that said, and it's also a matter of immigration things. Now, what most people don't take in consideration is, yes, you got all these kids coming out of college to get these jobs, but then you also have the fact that we've reduced, if not took, at one time we had a limit on the amount of immigrants that came into the country. All right, and I'm not talking the illegal ones. I'm talking about the legal ones. Ronald Reagan did away with that. Well, now that you have no limit on how many illegals, or technically illegals until they become legal citizens, come into the country, you're putting a big, hamper. It's not the word I want to use, but it's the word that's going to have to fit for now. On jobs, because the more people that come into this country, they need jobs too. You get college graduate students and everything looking for jobs, even if it's just a basic minimum job till something opens up in their field. Now they got to deal with other college graduates, their own parents who just probably lost a job, and these immigrants coming in looking for work. Now, my personal take on it, put the limit back on. It reduces. Quit being friendly to all the nations. Okay, Washington, the state, Congress, and even all the state capitals need to just step up for once and say, "Sorry, people. We need to take care of our own. Your issues don't matter anymore." And that's when it needs to be done. But next week is Blockbuster Videos, since movie season's starting, and my take on which ones I might see and which ones I'm definitely going to see, which definitely is going to be the Avengers because I have my tickets for it already. With that, this is Draffet and Draffet Store. Have fun.